Training camp has started across the league, which means football is almost here. In today's video, we have the latest news coming out of training camp for you. But before we get into it, if you could take a second, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you don't already. We're going to be here all season long, giving you guys fantasy football insight, free sports betting picks, up-to-date news, and much more. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. Let's get into it. Starting off, we have Buffalo Bills running back Nyheim Hines, who suffered a knee injury in an accident off the field. Reports say he was involved in a jet skiing accident. Luckily, there is no life-threatening injuries, but the injuries will keep him off the field in 2023. Chiefs wide receiver Kadarius Toney left practice early on Sunday after tweaking his knee during practice. He did not return for the remainder of the practice. It's unknown the severity of the injury as of right now, but we know Kadarius Toney continuously deals with injuries. It's been like that his whole career since he's been in the NFL, continuously dealing with injuries, keeping him off the field. But we know when he's on the field what he can do. Patrick Mahomes even came out and said earlier this offseason that he thinks that he could be one of the best wide receivers in the league, but you got to stay healthy and be available to do that. So this is something that we're going to have to monitor throughout the training camp. Hopefully it's nothing too serious and we can see Kadarius Toney play some football. Broncos running back Javonte Williams will not start off training camp on the PUP list. That is a positive sign for the running back who suffered a season-ending ACL injury last year. Now starting off training camp not on the PUP list. That's a huge step for the running back and a step in the right direction for him to be available for week 1 against the Las Vegas Raiders. Some news out of the Ravens camp. Running back J.K. Dobbins is starting training camp off on the PUP list, the physically unable to perform list. This isn't something that you should overreact about. Players can be put on or taken off at any time. The Ravens are likely just being cautious with J.K. Dobbins, who returned from an ACL injury last season. He had a couple decent games, but you could still tell that the knee was an issue. So the Ravens are likely just being cautious with him, but it's worth noting that J.K. Dobbins is starting training camp off on the PUP list. Some good news for Raiders fans. Quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo passed his physical after there's concerns earlier this offseason that he may not be able to after undergoing foot surgery in March, but he passed his physical and will be out there on Wednesday for the Raiders' first practice. The running back position has been a topic of conversation over the last couple of weeks, with running backs Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs both holding out after not receiving long-term contracts from their teams. Reports say that a group of running backs got on a phone call to talk about the current state of the running back position. They believe they're not being valued or accommodated for what they're worth, so they talked about some things that they could do to potentially change that. But as of right now, both Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs are not reporting to training camp, and there is a chance that both of these players hold out this season. So this is something that we're going to have to monitor leading up to the season. Hopefully these teams can figure out a way to get these guys on the field, but as of right now, it's not looking good. Reports came out early Monday morning. Defensive back for the Detroit Lions, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who was acquired by the Lions this past offseason, was carted off the field with a non-contact knee injury, which you never want to hear non-contact injury because usually it's never good. But since reports have come out and the Lions are optimistic that the injury isn't as serious, but further testing will be done. So hopefully it's not a season ender for the defensive back. But that's going to do it for us today. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, line them up.